in which I am an undisputed failure. Hello everybody, it's Noria. So when I'm recording this, it's the 31st of October, which means it's officially the end of WitchAthon, and I figured I could combine my wrap up for WitchAthon and my October wrap up as well, all in one video. Heads up, I failed WitchAthon. Work was a bitch, and I couldn't get as much reading done. I had such high hopes for WitchAthon, and I sincerely hope that when Rhiannon does the ReadAthon for, I think it's Yule that's next. Fingers crossed, I'm not sure, I think. But hopefully, the next ReadAthon, I would definitely be a part of it. So, Rhiannon of Crescent Moon Reads gave different prompts, and we're meant to pick which book we're going to read for each prompt for WitchAthon, which started on October 24th and is ending today. And like I said, heads up, I failed, but I did give it my best, and I hope sincerely I'll be able to participate in the next readathon. Now, these were the prompts. They said this time of the year is all about preparing for the dark and gathering enough harvest to prepare for the winter. Read a book that is bound to make you warm and happy. And for that, I chose this lovely gem, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. One of my absolute favorite tropes in romance stories has to be the friends to lover trope. Like, bonus points if they're childhood friends to lovers. Like, that's some good ass shit. The only trope I love even more than friends to lovers has to be enemies to lovers. Like, and this unrequited childhood love, it's my kryptonite. I'm probably going to read this book at least a couple more times, maybe before the year ends. Like, that's how much I love the book. I love historical fiction. Monty is bi, the best friend is in love with is gay, his sister is amazing, and I saw myself in so many characters, and it felt so real to me. I was Felicity growing up, with my nose constantly stuck in a book, trying to figure out things and do things that my parents otherwise would say women are not meant to do. Did I listen? No. And I found our intelligence beautiful. Monty was a bit thick-headed sometimes, like, just not a little bit, a lot. It could be quite thick-headed, but his heart was in a good place, and everything he was doing and all the decisions he took was for his friend and the person he was in love with. And Percy cannot do any wrong for my eye. I am looking forward to when I can get the ladies' guide to petticoats and piracy, just because one, I sincerely hope I want to see more Felicity, and I'm just holding out the hope that I will still see Percy and Monty in it. I love the way they handled the deeper themes, how it's YA historical fiction, and sure, there were a lot of funny parts and lots of heartwarming parts, but they also treated but Mackenzie Lee also treated like the heavy topics. She handled them quite well. The fact that Percy had to deal with racism, the stigma that came with disease, and the old belief that a woman is best for just finishing school, and why would she want to be a doctor? Why would she have bigger dreams than that? And the need to break a woman's spirit so that so she can fit in better into society, patriarchal society. And I love how all of this was woven in the story, and I also love the way the abuse was handled. I'm trying not to spoil anything or not spoil that many things, but from the very first time it was mentioned, I could see it, and I figured that was what was happening, and then when to have it confirmed, and then to realize that it is also connected to Monty's behavior throughout the book, it was heart-wrenching, But there's a pretty cool part where a pirate teaches Monty like much desired skills, and I laughed and I loved it, and I sincerely hope that I get a chance to actually see him, you know, put it into okay, fine, he puts it into action, but there's one person we all solely want to see bleed, and I hope we get to do so in the next book. I love it. I would definitely rate this a 5/5. It was easy to read, it was breezy. The only problem I had with this book is how many damn times are you going to say absolutely in a book? If it was so fucking annoying. And I don't know, I guess I just kept thinking of Mr. Big from Sex and the City, because it was the one that also like said absolutely. And I just thought that Mackenzie Lee probably recently watched Sex and the City, and because what the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? Like, hopefully Felicity will not pick up that annoying ass habit, because between Monty and Percy saying absolutely every absolutely fucking 5 minutes, patience. Still a 5-star though. Still a 5-star. Now, the next prompt for the Witchathon was that light a candle for your ancestors and read by candlelight. This is the time for honoring our kin, and I did that. I lit a candle while I was reading the Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. So I did that. Samhain is the third prompt was Samhain is most widely known as Halloween. Read a spooky horror thriller novel. I would come back to this prompt because I ended up fulfilling this prompt, but it's connected to another prompt I fulfilled. Okay, so the next prompt was the veil between worlds is thin. Read a book that has paranormal elements. For that prompt, I chose Freshwater by Akweke Emezi. Unfortunately, this is a reread, right? But I was looking forward to reading because I love the story. But like I said, with work, I wasn't able to complete that challenge, so I couldn't read it, and it's fucking sucks. So basically, just to give you an idea of what the book is about, the main character, Diada, is what we call an Ogbanje. An Ogbanje being a child from the spirit realm. What that also meant for them and us, is that Diada had multitudes in them. So yes, there were a lot of we, they, them pronouns, which of course is representative of the spirit realm, but also I also found it really awesome non-binary representation, because there were some of the lives within them that did not identify as either genders, and I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the way Akweke handled mental health in the book was also very deep and very profound. And there are so many things, there's so many representations in this book. There's trans representation, like I said, some characters in the book or some spirits in the book are non-binary. There's cutting, mental health, like I said. There's just this thread of spirituality, and how some of us are not born of this world, of this physical world, and that we can see beyond the veil. And it's sad that society does not understand that, does not see that, and sometimes the coping mechanisms that we employ might seem to be destructive, but it really isn't. And I also loved how Akweke handled abuse, because the birthing of the Adaku's various selves happened as a result of certain traumatic experiences that happened throughout their life, and the sexual assault was one of them, and it hurt and it felt so real, and I loved every moment of it. I'm definitely going to read it again, hopefully soon. I really wish I'd read it for WitchAthon, but I couldn't because, like I said, work. So the next prompt said, in honor of your ancestors, read a book that features your ethnic heritage. Now, for that, I combined challenges. So, Freshwater was also meant to fill in that prompt because my mother is Delta Igbo and the main character is Igbo. So, that was meant to help me connect with that. But I couldn't because, like I said, I couldn't read it. The next prompt says, every witch needs a coven, body read a book. And I know it says body read a book, but my best friend is really into fan fiction right now, so that was what she chose. And as far as I'm concerned, it's still reading so far as I'm taking in a strength. And we decided to go with Carry On Comforts by Cadaverish. And basically, this is an Hannibal Lecter fanfic, and it's a ghost Hannibal and Will story, where eventually Will slowly descends into becoming psychologically connected to his boyfriend in every way. Yes. She said it was going to be very scary and that it worked for Halloween. I finished the story because I think it's like 5 stories. Yes, 5 stories. And I remember I called her and I told her that nope, that story was not scary. Anyway, the last challenge said read the group book, which was The Girl Who Drank the Moon. And I bought it on Audible, and I loved it. I've been listening to it. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten a chance to finish it either. I think about a quarter. I love the combination of a baby witch is raised by a witch, a swamp monster, and a baby dragon. I'm so enjoying the antics. I don't really want to say that much about it because I just started it. I've not really gotten far, but so far the writing is breezy. And yes, that is the sound of thunder because it wouldn't be Halloween without a downpour. Thank you, universe. Thank you. Anyway, so like I said, the writing was easy, it was simple, it was sometimes lyrical in a way. I don't know, it reminded me of like Neil Gaiman's Coraline. I know it's weird, some people might not see the connection, but I kind of see it. That's all slightly conversational, slightly run-on sentences. The way they tell the story, it's slightly similar to me. You might find another author that writes similarly to that, and if you do, please let me know because I love this writing style. So please comment below if you have any other book you'd like to recommend. So that is it with WitchAthon, which, like I said, I failed horribly. But that is WitchAthon. Let us move on to the books I read in October. Okay, I'm not going to go through the WitchAthon stories because I've already read those. The first set of books I read this month is, ta-da! Yes, it's Miss Libadugo's Shadow and Bone trilogy. When I got this book, because I bought the Shadow and Bone trilogy because I have friends that have been going on and on about Six of Crows zoology, and I said I was going to get it, and so I got it. But I also got the first set of books in the Witcherverse because they mentioned that it would help for me to read the story chronologically or in the way in which Libadugo wrote it. So I got Shadow and Bone trilogy and I got Six of Crows zoology, and I read Shadow and Bone first, and Mal is an idiot. Yes. Alina, I loved her in the beginning of the first book, and then she started being stupid, and I was like, what the fuck? And then the second book she annoyed me, and then third book she slightly redeemed herself. So I'm like, okay, Mal was an idiot in the first and second book, and then he slightly redeemed himself in the third book. But at that point I was like, what the fuck? The Darkling is misunderstood. Did I want him to end up with Alina? Sorry, no. It's abusive and it's a douchebag. But I saw where it was coming from, and what can I say? I have a special place in my heart for characters that operate within shades of grey, which leads me to the next books I read this month. But before I go into that, I think if I was to read the entire trilogy, it will probably get a 3.5 for me because, like I said, there's some parts I was like, what the fuck? You want to know what duology got 5 stars for both books? These babies, they can get it. In fact, they did get it. Libadugo is queen, and I want Inej to adopt me. and I want Kaz to adopt me, and I want Nina to adopt me. But I definitely want Jesper to adopt me. Matthias, like he redeemed himself in the last book. The first book I was kind of like iffy about Matthias, like, and I hadn't read any spoilers, so I didn't know. And then Crooked Kingdom happened, and I'm like, fuck. Matthias can adopt me, but like later Matthias, and of course Willen. Willen is my son. I'm going to adopt him. He's adorable. But yes, I love this. I love the zoology. I'm making it a thing. Once a year, I am going to read this. And yes, I am joining every other person in getting King of Scars the minute it comes out, because Libadugo is queen, and I want that book. I also want Night House, which I saw on Instagram today. That it's going to be released coming out next year. Counting on the days, because ghosts are like riding on a subway train, and there are certain rules you have to follow. Don't look at them. Don't make eye contact. Don't like. I was just like, she had me sold on ghosts. Yes, we're definitely here for that shit. So like I said, 5/5 stars. The next book I read is Lives of Great Men by Frankie Edosian. My very first video was a review of this book. So if you want to see a full detailed review, please check that out. But like I said, then I give this a 3.5. I think the story is needed and I love it. It could have been better, but hey, we don't always get everything we want. That is what I have learned from life and literature. And surprisingly enough, that is it. Yes, those are the books I read in October. If you want me to do a detailed review of any of the books, please you can let me know in the comments and I would get to it. But until then, I'll see you next week, and keep reading. Bye.